Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizzano, and this is another episode of the world famous, the University Love, the best podcast, ladies and gentlemen, in 1, 2, 3 galaxies. But, ladies and gentlemen, today we just call this show Online Marketing Moves, and we are coming to you live today, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming to you from the beautiful city of Atlanta, Georgia. It is the something or another. I can't keep up with it. It's July the 20th. It's July the 20th, ladies and gents. How are you? How are you? How are you? Come on in, come on in, come on in. We're going to have an exciting episode today, ladies and gentlemen. Today's episode is going to be very exciting. Ladies and gents, today we are going to talk about marketing. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about how you can stand out amongst the crowd. Everybody, say it with me. Ladies and gentlemen, don't be the same as everybody else. Ladies and gentlemen, products, people have products. If you want to sell protein bars, if you want to sell kitchen knives, if you want to sell trash cans, mailboxes, you can do it. But the thing that you have to remember, the thing that you have to do is you have to stand out amongst the crowd, Now, I know, ladies and gentlemen, there are many ways you can do it. But the one thing that we do not want you to do, the one thing I do not want you to do is be somebody that you're not, okay? The one thing that people can smell is phoniness. Phoniness. Yes, everybody, you can develop a character, you can be a character, but, ladies and gentlemen, the best characters, the best creations of the you that people see online, because, ladies and gentlemen, we are all characters at the end of the day. When you go to work, you put on a little bit, You and I both know. Everybody knows this. There's the person that people see. There's the person that people really know. And then there's the person that you really are. Okay? And the closest, most people are never going to meet the real you. I'm not saying, most people are not going to meet the real you. But in order for you to become great with the marketing, in order for you to really hit it with the marketing, you have to be who you are. You have to ratchet it up a little bit. You have to stand out amongst the crowd. Whether it be a hat that you like to wear, whether it be music in the background. What makes your content stand out amongst the crowd, because every jackleg these days is a content creator. Everybody in your mama, okay? Everybody in my mama is a content creator, you know what I'm saying? And it's crowded, but it ain't really crowded, because most people are just content thieves. Most people are kind of bland. Most people, they try to say outrageous stuff, but it's not really outrageous. They don't really stand out. But you can stand out amongst the crowd by being yourself, developing a genuine character of who you are. I will give you prime examples. When I used to watch wrestling, we probably went down this hole before, but we'll go down it again, because sometimes you need to hear things over and over and over again. If you're like me, you could be hard. You could be a little difficult, a little hard headed, you know. So sometimes you need to hear something over and over and over again. But the people are who they are, you know. Ric Flair is who he is. He's a character amongst himself. He is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. And Ric Flair, he was wooing, he was limousine riding, jet flying, willing Dylan, kiss Dylan, son of a gun. And he had a hard time getting his alligators on. And that's who he was in real life, you know. He had a few, you know, he would ratchet it up, but if you hear him interviewed, he loved the life, he loved the lifestyle. That was who he was. He wasn't trying to be a character. The worst wrestling gimmicks used to be the ones that they're like, hey, this guy is a plumber, you know, this guy is a goon. He's a hockey player, you know. This guy's a repo man. Those would be the worst characters. But when Stone Cold, he went from, he was at first. I remember I saw Stone Cold Steve Austin. He wrestled. He was a Hollywood blonde. He acted like he was from Hollywood, California, but he had the thickest Texas accent you could ever imagine, you know. And I remember he was good, but it wasn't really clicking. And then he went to the WWF and he became the ringmaster. And I remember that sucked. And I remember I was like, man, this guy. But then they just started letting him go and sort of being who he was. He was a beer drinking Texas fella who liked to drink beer and fight. And Stone Cold took off and he made buku's money. He stood out amongst the crowd. And in order for you to really market, you know, in order for you to market anything, you have to, you know, what makes your product, what makes you stand out amongst the crowd. You know, you have to, you know, if you have a product, you want to write down, look at the product, whether it be, let's take a broom, for example, you know. What makes your broom, write down every feature that your broom could have, you know. All the handles fit your arm or what, fit your hands or whatever, you know. It's made for the hands of a small child or something like that, you know. You write down everything that your product is good for, you know. You write it down. You pinpoint something. And you go, what, and you look at other products and you go, what can this product do that other people do not feature in their products? You know, what do they not talk about? And you could talk about that and your product will start standing out and people will go, oh yeah, I never thought about that. And you can hone in on that and you can make it to where that is the thing and people will start to buy your product and you can double down on it. And you can talk about why is that part of the product so great, you know? The thing about, I remember Apple. You know, Apple, now they're in cruise mode. But I remember listening to Steve Jobs and he would point out something with the phone that nobody else could do, you know. We have this feature, we have that feature, you know. It wasn't just, hey, this is a phone, you know. He talked about it was like a Swiss Army knife, you know. And the iPhone, all these phones are Swiss Army knives, basically, with the ability to talk on them, you know. And he would talk about features that were not, you know, brought up by other companies. And this is why Apple is dominant in the cell phone space, you know, the same as the Mac, you know. And there are always ways to market, you know, differently than other people, you know. You don't have to do the same. You don't have to go the traditional route. You don't have to do the same thing, you know. It's amazing now. We call this show Online Marketing Moves, but it's amazing what you probably can do if you send, let's say you have a website. And if you want people to see your website, you know, let's say you have a website and it's about cars, you know. You know, instead of going to a commercial or going to you know, if you have a website about cars, so let's say you want people to rent your cars, you know. I would I would write out a hand-paced note, and I would get it to where it could be shaped in the form of a car, and I would send it through the mail, through bulk mail to people, because people do not get mail these days, and if you will be amazed. You will be amazed at the feeling people get when they get mail. If you haven't try this, and listen to the words I say. Send somebody a postcard. Just don't tell them, hey, I'm sending this postcard, man. Just send the postcard. Don't even bring it up. They will call you up whenever they get the postcard. And they will say, hey, man, I really enjoyed this postcard. Why, then they'll start asking you 100 million questions, Why did you send me this postcard? Blah, 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 blah. People do not get mail, so there's different ways to market. There's different ways. And I say the post office, the UPS, bulk mail is still a beautiful way to stand out amongst the crowd with people when it comes to marketing your product. Or if you have a website that you personally want to get people to sign up email list for, I say send something through the mail, and people will sign up, and people will get on your email list. Trust me, this will happen, and it's you have to stand out, because there's a lot of there's a lot of people at the bottom trying to make it to the top. It's not many people at the top, and the more you stand out, the more you can really figure out, how can I make my product stand out? How can I do this? How can I do that? The better off you will be. Marketing is key. Most things are, if you ever sit back and think about it, if you just sit back with me for 5 minutes, and think about all the products that you have in your house, and what makes it stand out. Yeah, some products are a little better than others, but for the most part, most of the stuff we buy, it's about the same. If you really ever think about it, it's I know people, because BMW, they stand out. They don't. What's a fancy car? What's a fancy car? There's cars like Porsche. They don't really advertise because they don't have to. You know what a Porsche is. Porsche is luxury. It's a luxury brand, and people, as soon as they get a lot of money, they go, ooh, I got to get me a Porsche. They run down to the Porsche. You see the Porsche dealerships and everything, but you don't see a lot of commercials, because it would cheapen their brand. It would cheapen their product. I had a conversation with my wife today, when we was talking about money, and she said, oh, we get a bunch of money. She was talking about Louis Vuitton, Louis Vuitton apparently is a luxury brand. I don't know much about Louis Vuitton, but it's a luxury brand. Look at Trump. Trump has made himself, whatever you think about Trump doesn't matter political wise, but when you think of Trump Hotel, you think of Trump Towers, Trump Plaza. Trump has turned his name into a luxury name. When you think Trump, Hilton, you think luxury. And you want to get to that point in your marketing life, in your marketing world, that they can just say the name of your product, or say your name, or whatever you want to do. And they go, and this, when you think Apple, you think nice products, expensive products, or expensive enough, expensive to me. So I think they're good products, they're great products, they're expensive, but they're quality. You think, that's what you think. Just think of a few brands, McDonald's, fast food at a decent price, at a reasonable price, And if you really look at McDonald's, if you ever think about McDonald's and where they're located, McDonald's has a lot of good. McDonald's set themselves up. and they have a McDonald's has set themselves up, and they are in a lot of nice locations, you know. So McDonald's, there. I was driving around today, and I saw McDonald's in different neighborhoods, nice neighborhoods. You know, I'm like, McDonald's always has a line of people, you know, so they set themselves up, you know, and they're always gonna make money, no matter how many times people try to knock them down. They're always gonna make money. When you think Disney, you think quality amusement parks, you know, expensive. People bitch and complain about Disney, but guess what? Every year people go to Disney. They go to Disney. They go to Disney. They have a brand, you know. They have a brand that doesn't seem to, it's gonna shake, it's gonna move, you know. You want to be able to market yourself in a way that you get to a point where you become a immovable object. You know what I mean? Like, there are certain companies that if they ever fall apart, you go, man, what? I can't believe, you know. Amazon. Think about Amazon. Amazon is a giant. You know, I don't know if Amazon's ever going to go out of business, you know. Don't seem like it. Some companies don't, you know. I know people like, oh man, companies come and go, but some companies, AT&T has been around since before I was born, before you was born, you know. AT&T, they've been around forever, a long time. You look at Walmart, cheap prices or reasonable prices, a lot of stores, you know, one-stop shop, you know, Walmart, they have a brand. They have marketed themselves very well. You want to market yourself to where you are in a position that you are going nowhere, okay? You want to put yourself in the sand. You want to put yourself in the concrete and do that. You know, the sturdier you can be, no matter what kind of storm comes along, no matter what kind of wind, rain, whatever, you will be anchored down, okay? You want to be an anchor. You don't want to be one of these people who, you know, oh, things are hot right now. We talked about this yesterday. Things are hot right now, and you blow away, you know? No. You want to market yourself to where you are always have the ability to make money, no matter what happens. No matter if you go broke tomorrow, you market yourself well, you have the ability to make money immediately, okay? And the more you stand out, the better off you will be. I'm not saying you have to yell, you have to scream, you have to be loud. You don't have to be any of that. You don't have to be obnoxious. You don't have to be a sourpuss. You don't have to be any of that. You can be who you are. But what you have to do, turn on your brain. Give it some thought. Write stuff down that you are good at. What are your strengths? You know, are you highly intelligent? Are you sarcastic? You know, what are you? You know, turn it up a little bit. You know, I remember Howard Stern. He said he started calling himself the king of all media, and people just ran with it after a while. You know, and you give yourself a nickname, you can run with it. We talked about wrestling earlier. The great Jim Ross. I remember Jim Ross. I read one of his books. He talked about how Vince McMahon wanted him to wear a hat. You know, he thought this is a stupid idea. This is a stupid hat, you know. And now he says he don't go nowhere without his black hat, you know, because everybody knows good old JR wears a black cowboy hat, you know. So it's a part of his attire. It's part of his marketing. It's part of his brand, you know. So you figure that stuff out, and you make it work. You know, marketing is the key, because like we talked about, there's a lot of products. There's a car is a car to me. You know what I mean? A car is a car. I don't care what kind of car I drive. That's just me. But I know a lot of people, they care. Oh man, if this ain't a Lexus or a BMW or Mercedes, you know, these companies have branded themselves to be luxury, you know. So people are like, oh, I need a Mercedes. I need a Lexus, you know. I mean, you know, all I need is 4 wheels of the engine, but that's just me. But for you, it might be something that you know. I know for me, there's a couple things that I'm like, If it's not this, I don't want it, you know. And we are all like that when it comes to something or another, you know. So think about that when you're doing your marketing, you know, and turn your marketing brain on. Look at everything through the lens of marketing, and you will be a lot better off for it, okay? So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. We will be back tomorrow with the all-new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, my name is Tony Rizzano. God bless. Email the show, Tony@TonyRizzano.com. And like I said, we'll be back tomorrow with the all-new episode. But until then, stay safe. God bless. And as always, everybody, peace.